Hi everybody, this is Lisa. I'm ready to start a new verbling class today. I'm typing up here in the chat that the topic today is going to be on nature, and the skills that we're going to be working on are going to be pronunciation and reading skills. Hi, Lisa. Welcome.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi there. All right, well, people are coming in quickly here. Hi there.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome. I'm going to provide a link to something that I have for us to practice with today. It'll give us a little...
Hello, Lisa.
Hi there. Welcome, everybody.
Everybody.
Right. Everybody's joining right now. As soon as we get full, we'll get started. I just provided a link in the chat, and that is a link that goes to a Google Doc that I created that has a little article on nature. It's not
Could you
too
put
difficult.
that link in Google Hangout chat box?
Sure. Everybody should be able
Thank
to
you.
access it if you have the link, because I shared it. So I'll also put it up here once we get started so that we can work on it together. So today what I wanted to work on is pronunciation. So pronunciation means saying the words correctly in English. When we're learning a new language, that's one of the things that helps us become more fluent in the language. It makes it easier for people to understand what we're saying. So it's something that's good to practice, and it's usually good to practice with something that is interesting to you and is meaningful and has vocabulary that you might actually use when you're speaking to people. So I just created a little article, something that's not too difficult. It's about nature and about Earth, and there's words in there that maybe some people may have a hard time pronouncing, so we're going to practice that. And also reading aloud. I'm going to, you can read it if you want to. You're not going to have to read it if you don't want to. I'm going to read it, not at full speed, but at a normal speed that you'll be able to understand and follow along, and then that will be your model. And then I'm going to ask you to also read some things, and if you have any questions about pronunciation of any of these words or any other words that you're working on learning in English, then I'll be happy to help you. So, but first we're going to get started like we always do by introducing ourselves, because we're full in the chat and it looks like we have quite a few people also watching. So for the people who are watching, and if you did not get into the verbling class, sometimes people have to leave early, so they drop out, and that opens up a space. And so if you see the little green button that says join class, you can click on it and then you'll be able to join us. And so what's nice about being in the class is that you get to participate and practice your English and practice your speaking, and also participating with everybody, which is really fun. So I'm going to start by introducing myself. My name is Lisa. I'm one of the verbling teachers. I live in Washington State, which is in the Northwest. We call it the Pacific Northwest of the United States. It's above Oregon and just below Canada. Vancouver, Canada, Victoria, Canada. So I'm going to ask you to just tell us your name and where you are. And I know some of you have joined us in many classes already, so we're getting to know some of you pretty well. But just for the people who are new and for the people who are watching, please just tell us where you are, what country you're from. And also, one more thing is in the chat, people can ask questions also and participate that way. So if you didn't get into the class, if you have a question, I'll try to keep an eye on the chat so I'll be able to answer your questions as well. And so we'll get started. And if I mess your name up, please correct me. I'll try to do my best to say your name correctly. Okay. Bordish, are you there?
Yeah, hello. I am at home in Turkey.
I live in Istanbul.
Great, wonderful. Thank you for joining. And we have Jose with his picture of his dog there.
Yeah, okay.
Hi.
Okay, hi Lisa, hi everybody. My name is Jose and I'm from Peru.
Peru. Well, great, wonderful, welcome. And I'll just remind people that for some people, they either don't want to have their video on, and that's fine. And for some people, they can't have it on because it slows down their internet access and sometimes kicks them off, or their microphone gets slow or something. So it's okay if you don't want to have your video on. You can still participate. So, Julissa, are you there?
Yes. Hi, Lisa. Hi, guys.
Hi.
My name is Julissa, and I'm from Peru.
Okay, 2 from Peru. And Junaid's with us again. Hi, Junaid.
Hi Lisa, how are you today?
I'm doing well.
Hi guys, my name is Junaid. I'm from Iraq. I live now in United States, Arizona.
Junaid, I forgot. How long have you been living in Arizona?
Now about 4 years.
Oh, okay. Great. All right. Well, welcome back. And we have Malek. Are you there? I can't hear you, Malek. Is your microphone on? I see that you're probably talking, but I don't hear. Maybe check your the volume. Okay, well, see if you can fix it, and then I'll come back to you, and you can just talk, and when I hear you, we'll be able to see. Okay? Norbert, are you there?
Okay, hi everybody, I'm Norbert from Hungary, Europe.
Wonderful. How's the weather right now in Hungary?
It's snowing.
Snowing, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, Vivi. Hi.
Hello everybody, hi Lisa, my name is Vivi, I'm from Paraguay.
Paraguay. All right. First student I've had from Paraguay. Welcome. And Wolf is with us again. How are you doing, Wolf? Wolf, are you there? Okay. Well, he's usually there, so maybe he had to step away for a minute. And Ziad, are you there?
Yes, hi Lisa, hi everybody. I'm Ziad, I'm from Egypt.
Egypt. Welcome. Okay. So has everybody been able to look at the article that I put up in the Google chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I am actually going to read that, and I'm going to read it, and I want you to read along in order to hear how I'm pronouncing the words. So it's just something to get us started, and then we're going to go back, and I am going to listen to you guys pronounce these words and say some of these sentences. Okay? So here we go. I'm just going to read. I'm going to start off. It says Earth, natural environments, and pronunciation practice, reading practice. We live on a planet that we call Earth. Earth is just one of many planets, but it is very special. Why is it special? Because we can live on it. All the conditions for life are met here on planet Earth, and we humans get to enjoy it all. On Earth, we enjoy many different types of environments. In some areas of the world, we have deserts. Deserts are very dry places that do not get much rain, and therefore not many plants grow there. It can also be very hot in the desert. Sometimes it is hard for humans to live in a desert. Another type of natural environment is the rainforest. The rainforest is almost the opposite of the desert because it gets a lot of rain. The rainforest is full of life and growth. The rainforest can be very dense with trees, plants, flowers, and all types of living things growing on top of other things. The temperatures in a tropical rainforest can be hot in some areas, but also humid because of all the rain. Brazil is a country that has a large tropical rainforest, but many other countries also have rainforests. Some are tropical and others are temperate. We also have mountains here on Earth. Many countries have small and large mountain ranges. Some of the largest mountains are so high that they almost always have snow on the tops of them. Some mountains are actually volcanoes. People enjoy visiting the mountains in the summer for hiking and climbing, and in the winter for skiing, snowboarding, and snowshoeing. We also have oceans and beaches. Many people live in areas that are close to the shores of the ocean. For many, this is a wonderful place to live because of the good weather and the wonderful things you can do at the beach and in the ocean, like swimming, fishing, and surfing. However, sometimes it can be dangerous to live so close to the ocean, such as when there are hurricanes, like Hurricane Sandy, which recently hit the east coast of the United States. Our natural environments on Earth provide humans and animals with the things we need to survive, such as food, water, and materials to build shelters to stay safe and warm or cool, but it can also be a challenge for humans and animals to deal with the normal things that happen in nature, such as storms, snow, rain, earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, hot weather, and more. Okay, so that was the first reading of it. First, I want to ask, does anybody have any questions about any of the words or things that you didn't understand? Or was it pretty easy to understand for you?
I have a question about pronunciation.
Okay.
You usually say mountain or mountain, because I didn't hear the T.
Usually we say mountains. Mountain or mountains. If somebody's saying it very quickly, then it might sound like they're saying mountain. So it might.
Yeah.
So mountain is the word, but it might sound like they're saying mountain. I'll write it in the chat. So it might sound like mountain. So there's some people are making it, cutting off the T sound. So that's very popular. I was trying to read that in a way that, where I'm saying all of the sounds for the letters. But of course, if you bring up a good point where depending on how quickly you're speaking or who's speaking, there might be times where people cut off sounds. And I'm sure they do that in most languages. So I know that, for example, sometimes in the morning when I ask my kids, what do you want for breakfast? They might say, I don't know. And that means that what they're saying is, I don't know. But what you hear is, I don't know. You just hear like the sound and the inflection. You're not really saying the words. You're not hearing the actual words. So yes, that's a good point. So as far as the content, were you able to understand the words of this? Anybody have any questions about what anything means before we get started?
Snowshoeing.
Snowshoeing? Okay, yeah, snowshoeing is where you put these types of, they look kind of, well, in the olden days they looked like nets, and you put them on your feet and your boots so that you can walk in the snow. And so nowadays it's kind of a popular sport, and so they have more high-tech type things. They don't look like wood and nets and rope and anything anymore, but they're made out of plastic, and it's just where you have a bigger footprint so you can actually stand on the snow instead of sinking in. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, if you Google, maybe somebody, I'm not checking this link here, but maybe somebody gave us a link, Ahmad gave us a link to a place where you can look at snowshoeing, and if you Google it, you'll be able to understand what it is. Okay, Boris, you want to take a turn? How about try reading the first paragraph where it says, we live?
Okay. We live on a planet that we call Earth. Earth is just one of the many planets, but it's very special. Why is it special? Because we can live on it. All the conditions for life are met here on planet Earth, and we humans get to enjoy it all.
Okay, wonderful. Was everybody able to understand it?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Jose, can you read the next paragraph for us? On
Sure.
Earth? Sure.
Okay. On Earth, we enjoy many different types of environments. In some areas of the world, we have deserts. Deserts are very dry places that not get much rain, and therefore not many plants grow there. It can also be very hot in the desert. Sometimes it is hard for humans to live in a desert.
Okay, great. Wonderful. So I'm going to just come up with, if I hear something, I'll mention it. And one thing, you did a great job. There's just one thing that I heard is, I think it was when you said places, maybe you didn't have the S on there. And I just bring this up because for many people who are learning English, I think it's different in some other languages. So your native language might not make a plural by adding an S, and so sometimes people forget to say the S at the end of words. So that's a good thing to practice when you're reading English. So in here we have places, and I'm not saying that you didn't do it right. I'm just saying that I want to bring it up to bring it to everybody's attention. So it's important when you're speaking English to add those S's so we know that you're talking about more than one thing. So it's like places, plants, and again, like Wolf mentioned, sometimes if people are speaking quickly, then they might drop those things. But that's a common thing that native English speakers notice. People who are learning English, they sometimes forget to add the S's at the end. So I see that everybody here is doing a good job so far on that. So where we had environments, you just want to make sure you say in deserts. That's good. Okay, so let's see who next. Lisa, you want to read where it starts at another type?
Okay. Another type of natural environment is the rainforest. The rainforest is almost the opposite of the desert because it gets a lot of rain. The rainforest is full of life and growth. The rainforest can be very dense with trees, plants, flowers, and all types of living things growing on top of other things. The temperatures in a tropical rainforest can be hot in some areas, but also humid because of all the rain. Brazil is a country that has a large tropical rainforest, but many other countries also have rainforests. Some are tropical and others are temperate.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you very much, Elisa. That was great. So some of the things I might point out here, just when you are reading, you got it at the end. I was wondering if you were, but temperate. That was. Yeah, that was good, temperate. And so sometimes in English, even though we have, for example, the word rate. So sometimes in English we have a rule, you could say, that when there's an E, we call it the silent E at the end of a word, then the vowel is long, and so you say the name. So for example, the word rate, which I'm writing up here in the chat, is a long A. So somebody might want to say this word is temperate, but the reality is we say it temperate, like you said it. So yeah, so one of the things that I recommend to students is, that's why it's so important to read along and see the word when you're listening to a native speaker say the word properly, because it's just hard, and even native English speakers, children who are learning how to read, sometimes have hard time reading because they're trying to follow the rule that they learned that their teacher told them maybe, and it's not true. It doesn't always work that way. So temperate is one of those words that's different. So you just have to listen and listen a lot, and you'll pick it up the more you listen. Does that make sense? Have you guys heard about that rule for the long vowel sounds? Or do you want me to go over it a little bit?
Actually not.
Okay, so the long vowel sounds are a lot of times in English we have words. So if I have R-A-T, that would be what we call a short vowel sound. And that short vowel sound is ah at that time. So it's rat. So that's a little animal, a rat that runs around in your house. Hopefully not. But if you add an E at the end of that word, then it changes the vowel sound to a long, what we call a long vowel sound, which we say it says its name. So the name of that letter is A, and so that's also the sound, which is 8. So if I have at, for example, and I put an E at the end, it becomes 8. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if I have lit, and then I put, that's light. Does that make sense? So those are the, that's just a rule when you're reading, you might remember that. And if I'll go over it if I see some more in here and if I think of some more examples. Let's go on and have Junaid. Would you like to read the next? Let's see, where are we? We're on the mountains. Okay.
Okay.
Read about mountains.
Yeah. We also have mountains here on Earth. Many countries have small and large mountain ranges. Some of the largest mountains are so high that they almost always have snow on the tops of them. Some mountains are actually volcanoes. People enjoy visiting the mountains in the summer for hiking, climbing, and in the winter for skiing, snowboarding, and snowshoeing.
Great. So,
Climbing.
yeah. So that's the only thing that I heard there is you gave it the word climbing. You gave it a short I sound. You said climbing, and that is climbing.
Okay.
So and I know that for example I've studied Spanish, and Spanish is pretty easy because once you learn the sounds of the letters, that's pretty much it. But in English we have lots of words that don't follow the rules, and people say I'm funny anyways. But so that's just one of them. That's the word climb or climbing, and you say it with the I. So also there's the word in there hiking, and that follows the hike, which is I was telling you about the long vowel sound. So the word H-I-K is not a word in English. You would pronounce it hick if it was, but since it's not, but you do have the E. So if I was teaching like my child how to read, and I would say, look, it has the silent E, so you say the long I sound, so it's hike. And in this case, when we have verbs in English, when we take off the E and we put on the ing, so the action is happening or it's something that you're doing in the process of doing, it's hiking. So it still keeps that long vowel sound. Okay, so the same way with some other words that rhyme with hike would be bike. And again, B-I-K is not an English word, bick, but you would say it bick if it was. It's not, so it's bike. There's another word that's easy is like. Again, lick is not, that's not how you spell that word. You spell it that way. So it's good to practice and come up with word lists for yourself to practice pronunciation for the vowels. And that's exactly what even kids learning English, how to read, they have to understand the difference between the short vowel sounds and the long vowel sounds and when to use them. So it's the same kind of thing. Okay, who do we have up next here? Malek, did you get your microphone to work? Are you there? Okay, maybe Norbert, would you like to read?
Yes. We also have oceans and beaches. Many people live in areas that are close to the shores of the ocean. For many, this is a wonderful place to live because of the good weather and the wonderful things you can do at the beach and in the ocean, like swimming, fishing, and surfing. However, sometimes it can be dangerous because live so close to the ocean, such as when there are hurricanes like Hurricane Sandy, which recently hit the east coast of the United States.
Great, wonderful. Did anybody notice anything that was off there?
Recently?
Yeah, I think he said it good. Recently. So here's another pronunciation thing to be aware of in English is the letter C has some different pronunciation. So in this instance, you might, like an American learning how to read or spell, they might want it to be spelled with an S. So they might want it to be spelled like I spell it in the chat, because most people realize they know really well that the S has the sound, the S sound, the S, like that. But the C, and we call it the soft C, has that. So there are many words in the English language, especially when the C is in the middle of the words, but not always, but sometimes it can be at the beginning, where it's the S sound, or what we call the soft C sound. So recently, he said it very well. I'm trying to think, you'll see the next couple words there where you see coast, that has what we call a hard C. So hard C words like cake, which is another example of the vowel there, the long vowel, cake, cat, those kind of words where it begins with a C, they have a hard, what we call hard C. Yeah, coffee, somebody wrote coffee in the chat. Coffee, cancer, cancel. I mean, you can just think of all different ones. But then there's a word concert, which has both sounds. So it has the hard C in the beginning, but it has the soft C, or it has the S sound in the middle, concert. So that's a good one to be able to say words correctly and pronounce them correctly in English. It's good to know and to have a lot of practice listening to these words and how you say them. Yes, somebody's in the chat is asking what level this was in English, and I think I put it on there easy. So it's pronunciation, and we're not trying to pronounce medical words or anything like that. So these are just basic words that you might come across if you're reading the newspaper or if you're talking to people, and they're just basic words that when you're talking about the environment, earth, or nature, that type of thing. So, but at all levels, people always have.
Can I ask?
Yeah, Wolf. Or sorry, Zayed. Ziad.
Yeah, the word because, it is pronounced like because with a Z sound, or a because with an S sound.
Yeah, I say the word because. So it different people can say it differently, but it's more of a Z sound. Because you could say because, like the word cause has a different pronunciation, cause. So it sounds kind of like a short O sound, actually, cause. But when you put the B in front of it, some people might say because, and so it sounds like that. But most people say because, and when some people will write it incorrectly, but for shortening the word, like in texting, they'll write it like that. Like I just wrote it in the chat, because is that's what they do. So you might see that in slang or in chat, or sometimes if you go on Amazon or anywhere on the internet and you're reading like reviews for something, you'll see that, and they're saying, it's because, and they say cuz, like that. It's also a short way to say cousin, which is another word. It means cuz. All right. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Norbert.
Was my pronunciation good enough, or I need to work?
I could understand everything that you read. Yes, it was good. I didn't see anything. So one thing I could say is I didn't see any glaring errors, or I didn't hear any. I didn't hear any. Glaring would be like really standing out to me. So nothing really stood out. And it's also nice. What I liked when you read it, actually, I liked because it seemed like you were taking your time. And I think that sometimes when people are trying to be fluent in English and they want to fit in, they want to speak very quickly, And you don't need to speak very quickly. I mean, you will speak quickly the more and more you practice, naturally, but you don't have to make it your goal to try to speak very, very quickly. Especially when you're reading something, it's just fine to read it at a very natural pace and slower, and that way people will be able to understand you pretty well. So, yeah, sounded good.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Vivi, did you want to try reading?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Okay. Our natural environments on Earth provide humans and animals with the things we need to survive, such as food, water, and materials to build shelters to stay safe and warm or cool. But it can also be a challenge for humans and animals to deal with the normal things that happen in nature, such as storms, snow, rains, earthquakes, hurricanes, tornadoes, hot water, and more.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so I heard a few things that I want to address because these are very, very common. And Vivi, you're from Paraguay, so you speak Spanish, right?
Yes.
Okay, so these are some common pronunciation things that I hear with Spanish speakers. When you are saying natural in Spanish, I think it's natural, so the T is a really hard T, but in this case, the word natural and nature, it actually, in English, we say it almost like we're saying a CH sound, so it's like ch, like a ch sound, even though it's the TU there. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah. So, and this is for everybody, not just you. And there's people watching also this. So, it's just I'm just pointing out some things that are very common. So when we say nature or natural, you see a T there, and so you would think it should be nature, and you would say the T, but we say it nature, or natural. Okay. So that's one thing. The other thing is the TH sound. When it's whether it's at the beginning or the end of the word, it's the sound is like the word the or thing. So it has the th sound where you put your tongue at your teeth there, and so it's earth, and also things. And when you said earthquakes, so I think it kind of disappeared there. I didn't hear the th sound, so it was more like I heard earthquakes. So earth, it's really good to make sure you add that th sound. So, and that's pretty prevalent in English. There's lots of words that either start with a th, like theater or thank you. You know, like you're saying thank you, so thank, or think. Those words all have the th. Words that end with th, like bath, you want to say that really good and strong at the end, bath, th, or the th sound. Okay. The other one is the ch sound. It's like challenge. So the ch is can be at the end of, it can be at the beginning and the end of words. So ch, it's the ch sound. So in here in this paragraph there was challenge, and there was also the word such. So it came at the end there. And again, you can come up with all kinds of words like much, bunch, hutch. Those are words in English that have the ch sound at the end. And then, of course, in the beginning would be words like Chinese or checkers or chess or chest.
Chicken.
Okay? And let's see. Oh, and then the only other one is when challenge, and they get that soft G sound in there. The challenge. J. So it's like a kind of a J. Maybe you're familiar with, like J is like in the beginning of a letter Jack, for example. It's the J, challenge. So that's good. I think Diana wanted to know what a hutch is. I wrote the word. Maybe you don't know what a hutch is. So a hutch is like a cabinet. It could be in the kitchen hutch, or something in your room, a hutch. And also it could be like a rabbit's hutch. So a rabbit would be like something where the rabbit lives in. Yeah. So, okay, we're going to go on with Wolf. Are you there? Wolf, did you make it? Are you there? Are you just listening? I don't see. Okay.
Hello?
Hey, Wolf. There you are.
Hi.
Hi. Do you have any questions about the pronunciation so far?
Not so far.
Okay, so how about, I guess I didn't plan it so that everybody had their own paragraph, but we're just going to go back up to the top. Why don't you start reading where it says, we live?
That I don't want to torture anyone.
Okay, you just want to listen?
Yeah, because, yeah.
Are you getting tired?
No, just, I don't
Okay.
want to torture anyone if I gonna start to read, because it's gonna kind of torture.
Reading is torture?
I don't want to torture anyone.
I don't think you'll torture anybody.
Yeah.
You're not torturing us when you're talking, so I think it would be fine. But I'll let you pass for now. Okay? How about Ziad? Do you want to read from the top there?
Okay, sure.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so we live on a planet that we call Earth. Earth is just one of many planets, but it is very special. Why is it special? Because we can live on it. All the conditions for life are met here on planet Earth, and we humans get to enjoy it all.
Okay, wonderful. That was good. The only thing that I heard that maybe is just, and this is, I hesitate to say it because often Native American speakers, or native English speakers, I should say, often drop off their last sound of their words. So when I heard you say just, it sounded like just. But so just remember to put the T on the end there, just. But everything else sounded
Okay.
yeah, it's not very important, but just so that,
But you do say it just, right?
yeah, you can say just. I mean, it sounds like you're not pronouncing the T, like it's just, like a just, but it's probably more, it's better if you want, if to put the T on there, just. Earth is just.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's kind of quiet at the end. Yeah. Somebody just wrote, yeah, good job, Vivi, using the word just. All right. Okay, so let's see. We had a new person join us. Berta, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi there. Welcome. So I think you've been already watching us. Do you want to read for us on the where it says on
Yeah,
Earth?
sure. And first of all, I have one question because
Yeah, sure.
You pronounce the word often like often.
Yeah.
But what is correct?
Often.
Which word?
I would say that either way that you say it, people are going to understand what you're saying. But
Is it a dialect or something like this?
Often. Not necessarily a dialect. It's just that some people pronounce it often. Like I often go to the supermarket on Saturdays, you could say. And some people just say often. I often. So I would say it's better to say the T, but definitely people will understand. It sounds more like often when you're saying, like with, I wrote it in the chat there, in the chat, yeah. But often, yes.
Can it be the difference between like British English and American English, no?
British English and American could be, but often, yeah, maybe that's what.
Because in Russia, people are taught to British English.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
Because of this.
Yeah, different. It's not so much dialects, but yeah, definitely. Obviously, in England and in Australia, New Zealand, even in Canada, they have different ways of pronouncing the same word. So I'm giving you the American pronunciation right now, okay? Because that's what I'm most familiar with. But certainly, if I was British and I was talking that way, then I would be telling you to say things differently. So that's a good point, because when you're learning English, that's something that English learners definitely have to deal with, and that is the different way that people say things. Certainly, even in the United States, if you come to the West Coast, we say things a certain way, and if you go to other parts of the country, like the South, Texas and Georgia and those places, they have a different way that they pronounce some words, and in New York the same. And I think that's the same for other languages as well. I know I lived in Spain and learned Spanish there, and then I worked with students from Mexico and traveled in Mexico, and it's different. So it's the same thing. The main thing is pronouncing them so that people can understand you, and I think if you pronounce it either way, they will understand. So sometimes it's very easy to be understood, and then sometimes some pronunciation mistakes or problems or whatever are harder. They make it harder for the person to understand what you're trying to say. So does that make sense? Boris?
When you say water, you said water.
Water?
Yes, water.
Mm-hmm.
For example, other, there's a th becomes d, other. But in the water, there is only t.
Right. Right.
Why do you say water?
Water?
D sound. Water, D sound. I hear.
So when I say the word water, do you hear? You said you hear the D sound.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an R.
No. He's talking about the T.
An R sound.
I think he's saying.
Yeah,
the
but
T.
it sounds like an R. Water. Is that right?
Oh, like water. I say water. So yeah, sometimes when a person's speaking very clearly, they might say water, but when they're talking very quickly, it might sound like water, like you're saying, water. So it might sound like a D. You're correct there. So
which one is correct?
Water is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
It depends of dialect, isn't it?
Yeah, it depends. It's not so much the dialect, really. It's more how people are, just how precise they're trying to be with their language. So if you're at school and your teacher wants you to give a presentation or to read something out loud, then they are going to want you to say water. But if you're just talking to your friends and you're talking to your mom or something, you say, hey, give me a glass of water. Water. It sounds like a D. So, yeah, and that's the tricky part of learning another language. I think it's just something that you have to deal with, and either way, people will understand. So it really depends on what your goal is in the moment. For example, when we were reading just now, I think everybody did a really good job, and what I mean by that is everybody was able to say the words in a way that I was listening and I could totally understand what you're saying. So there are some times when a person is learning a new language and they are saying things probably it's because they're using the same sounds that they have in their own language, and so it makes it difficult for the person who's trying to understand them to understand them. But you guys don't seem to be having any problems with this level of text. Now, perhaps if there was something else that I would put up there, it might be a little bit harder. But even the words like natural and nature, those are kind of hard words to say, and you guys were able to say those words correctly. Vera, when you are teaching your students, you are teaching them the British way of saying things. Is it confusing for them if they watch American movies? Is it difficult for them to understand later, or do you
their level is not so high that they can watch this in movies or something like this.
Yeah, yeah, and I see that in the chat. Alexander said that the T is pronounced like an R in the USA. Again, some of these are, it's the difference between where you live. So if you go to New York and if you watch a movie, like for example, recently my kids watched this funny movie called Back to School. If you're interested, you could see it. and there in that movie is with Rodney Dangerfield, and in that he's a character from New York, and his son is from New York, and so he has a very what we call thick New York accent. So some of his pronunciation of words is going to be very different than how I would pronounce them, but you can still understand it. You can understand what he is saying. But yes, the words are very different sometimes. So go ahead,
I
Norbert.
would love to share with you a link. It's
Okay.
online pronunciation way.
Yeah. So sometimes everybody I find has a different style of learning. So sometimes people like to learn grammar and they like to understand the rules. Maybe they're a very analytical type of brain, and they like things like math and computer science, and so they can understand rules and put them into practice. But other times I find that what's most helpful for people is just to spend a lot of time training your ear, so that you can really understand just with your ear and not necessarily needing to understand the rules. Now, having said that, it's also nice to have some rules sometimes. So especially when you're reading something, like I gave you the rule about the long vowel sounds. Now, when you see pretty much any time you see a word that has an E at the end of it, you'll be able to at least try to say that word with the long vowel sound, and if it sounds right, then you got it. However, I'm going to tell you that there's always in English there's always exceptions to the rule. So we have, even in the article here, we have nature, which follows the rule, which is N-A, so it's nay, and then there's that E at the end, which is nature. But at the top I have the word practice, and that doesn't follow the rule. Even though there's an E at the end, both the A and the I sound are not long vowels. I didn't say practice, right? It's practice. So, yeah. So there's always difference. I mean, there's even the word live. Are people familiar with the two ways of saying live and live? Are you guys familiar with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So you could say, like, I live in Washington, or you could say I am watching the concert live on TV, for example. So in this case, they're spelled the same, but they have different ways that you pronounce them depending on what they mean. So, Norbert,
Yes.
are you familiar that in English there's lots of words like that? They sound the same, but they have different meanings, and they're spelled the same as well? Would it be helpful if I go over some of those words for you guys? Like,
I can
read if you don't mind.
Excuse me, Vera? What'd you say?
I wanted to read one paragraph.
Okay, which paragraph? Oh, you didn't do it? Okay, I told people before that was a space out. I spaced it, or I spaced out. That's a word that you can say when you do something like that. Sorry about that. Okay, go ahead, read.
Which paragraph?
Why don't we do the longer paragraph for you, because I know that you're teaching English over there in Russia. So another type. How about that one?
Okay. Another type of natural environment is the rainforest. The rainforest is almost the opposite of the desert because it gets a lot of rain. The rainforest is full of life and growth. The rainforest can be very dense with trees, plants, flowers, and all types of living things growing on top of other things. The temperatures in a tropical rainforest can be hot in some areas, but also humid because of all the rain. Brazil is a country that has a large tropical rainforest, but many other countries also have rainforests. Some are tropical and others are temperate.
Okay, good. All right. So did you have a Norbert?
I have a word what you asked Maybe back has a lot of means.
Back. It has a lot of
Yeah.
different meanings.
Um,
Or what?
what was the question what you asked me before?
Oh, if there are words that you I asked you, are you familiar that in English there's lots of words that are spelled the same way, but you might say them differently depending on what you're meaning?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Right. So I saw in were you talking about the word back? Back is always said back.
Yes.
Even though it does have different meanings. You could be talking about the back
Like
part of your body.
Right
Your
now
back.
I understand.
Yeah, okay. Ziad, did you want to say
permit
something?
and permit. A permit as a noun and a permit as a verb.
Yes. So he's giving an example of one word that is said differently depending on what you're trying to say. Can you use it in a sentence to give us an example? The two different ways that you say it?
Okay, maybe the verb, the sentence would be like, I'm having permission to skip dinner tonight, for example.
Yeah.
And the noun maybe like my teacher signed me a permit to not attend tomorrow the school.
Okay. Okay, I'll write it in the chat. Something like that. Okay, so I wrote permission, but that's actually a change of the word. So I was thinking of something if to use the verb. So the verb permit, which he's talking about, is to let somebody do something or to allow somebody to do something. So I will not permit you to cuss in class, for example. So somebody might say that, a teacher might say that. Cussing means saying bad words, like the F word or other words. Another one would be, tomorrow I'm going to get my driver's permit. So driver's permit is, so there's a little bit of the different stress in the words. One is permit, and the other one is permit. Yeah. Somebody asked what cuss means. Yeah, that means when you say bad words. So words that probably shouldn't be saying. Right. Somebody, Yulisa put it in there. Thanks, Yulisa. All right.
Permit is correct, I think. Permit.
Permit. You can say it both ways. So you can say I'm getting a driver's permit, or I'm not going to permit you to do that. So both the words, they have a little bit of a different accent depending on how you're using them, whether you're using it as a verb, like to permit somebody to do something, or a noun, like a driver's permit or medical permit or something like that. Yeah. Somebody, Junaid, you had a question about the difference between shores and beaches?
Yeah, if you have time.
Pretty much, I mean, we're talking about the same thing, but you use it differently when you're talking about, so if I'm talking about the beaches, I might use it in words like the beaches were packed today. There are a lot of people on the beaches today, or the beach was crowded. You could say that. When you're talking about the shore, that's usually more probably in scientific writing when they're talking about more about science and things, the shores. Of course, I think some of you might be familiar, even though I've never seen it there. There's a TV show, I think, called Jersey Shores or something like that. Has anybody heard of that? Jersey Shores. So what they're talking about there is the shore. So I think mostly if you're talking about going there, you're going to the beach. If you're going there to go get tanned, or you're going there to play or to go swimming, you would say, I'm going to go to the beach. You wouldn't say, I'm going to go to the shore. That would sound funny. But if you're talking about the shoreline and maybe what's happening on the shores, but you're talking about it more about the environment, not so much about how you're going to use it, then you would use the word shores. So we're talking about the same thing. The shore is the beach, but the beach is the word that we use when we're talking about going there and doing something there. We're going to build sandcastles on the beach, or we're going to lay out on the beach. You could say we're going to lay out on the shore, but that would sound, I mean, a person would understand what you're saying, but they might look at you funny. Why are you? Yeah.
Here you say many people live in the areas that are close to the shores of the ocean.
Right.
Can I use close to the beach of the ocean?
Yeah, you would, but in that case, I would think that you're talking more like about a specific beach, because usually when you're talking about the beaches, you're like going to one beach, but the shore is kind of more describing the whole, the expanse area, you know, so the whole length of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the shores is like general word of beach, but when I use beaches,
Yeah.
I want to talk on the one place.
Yeah, so if you're talking like, it's general, but it's also kind of specific to a shorter area. For example, if I am in California and I say to somebody, hey, let's go to the beach today, they probably know which beach I'm talking about because I'm living right there in that area, or you know, nearby one of the beaches I'm talking about. But if I'm talking to somebody and I say, oh yeah, the shore, on the shores of Los Angeles, there's so many people, that what I'm talking about is probably along the whole stretch of the land that meets the ocean, where they're building houses and things like that. Does that make sense?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So
I want to ask about the th sound, as in the. Is it better to pronounce it like a z sound or a d sound? Because that is very difficult for me.
The, like the, T-H-E?
I mean, when you
like weather,
make your tongue out, yeah, when you make your tongue out of your.
Yeah, I say weather. I don't know if you can see me. The, I put my tongue at the top, my teeth behind my two top teeth. Weather. Weather. Yeah. Actually, it's my tongue is a little bit out of my mouth when I say it. Weather.
Lisa, and how can we notice when it's the sound like?
But it is in the middle of the word.
Hold on. Let me. Lisa had a question. I didn't hear. Can you repeat the question?
Yes. How to notice when we should pronounce the th like and not like the d, weather or
weather. Yeah.
Other.
I think your safest bet is to pronounce it always like the th, the. Okay, so like if you're saying the word weather, if you're saying thing or think or slather, always use the th sound as your best bet. Other, you know, you might hear the d sound, utter, but that's not correct. So your best would be to use the th sound. Does that make sense?
Yes. So it's always better to use the th sound.
Yes. Yeah. So somebody wants to know what the word slather means. That means to put, like if you slather suntan lotion on your arm, that means to put suntan lotion on your arm. Slather. Okay. Okay, Boris,
so
you had
is
a
it
question?
better to say
Oh, who's talking? Yeah?
Okay, anyone wanna ask?
Oh, okay. Zia, did you have a question? We have about 1 more minute left in class, so go ahead.
Okay, so is it better to pronounce it like weather or weather?
Weather.
Weather? I mean, with the z sound, like weather.
No, not weather. No, weather. Yeah. So weather is with a th, weather, and that's we're talking about the climate, the rain, the snow, and then the other word weather is like that. So you say it sounds the same. It's weather. I don't know whether or not I'm going to go to the beach today. So it's the same. It sounds the same. Weather and weather. It's just spelled differently, and it means different things, but it's sounds the same. So Vivi, I think you wrote in the chat that it's better not to copy pronunciation. I think the trick here is when you're learning a new language, maybe you need to find a model. Who do you want to sound like? You know? So if you want to sound like somebody in a band or the way they talk, you can pronounce your words like that. And if not, you do it a different way. Looks like we got locked up here. Okay.
Teacher, Vera asked you something. She said, what is the difference to short and bank?
I think
bank and shore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like bank of the river.
Yeah, the bank of the river.